It's time for Shawn and Maya in the morning.
Quick pitch to Walter, looking for the record, cuts back, he's got it, he's out of it at 25 and the 26-yard line. Walter Payton becomes the National Football League all-time leading rusher.
Jordan, open, Chicago with the lead. The Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Chicago has won the Stanley Cup. Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, go to Rizzo. It's in time. And the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on this TGI Mickey Ficky Friday. It's the weekend, baby, and I am fired up. It's going to be, 90 degrees today? That's what I'm talking about. Summertime shy is here. I am fired up, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your boy, the Superback, Sean Sierra. And if you're watching me on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found me on Facebook. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at SM_mornings or at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me personally online, want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. Want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made a nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper. All one handle at the Sean Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at the Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram, because you do it just for the gram, then follow her at Maya Akai. It's MayaAkai. Guys, we got a great show for you today. And we got started just a tad late, so we got to hustle. All right, I want to say what's up to my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife doing things back there. Ivan Vargas. Ivan, what's up, Papa? How are you?
Good morning, Sean. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Had CrossFit class this morning, so I'm feeling good.
You're awake then.
Yeah. Don't worry. Don't get it twisted. I'm gonna knock my ass out after the show, but I'm starting to come down a little bit now. You know, your adrenaline's pumping right after, but now it's starting to come down. But no, You know what? With all the sports talk we got going on today and our guests, I'll be good. I'll be good.
Cool. I'm ready to go.
Well, listen, guys, we got a great show for you, but I need you to get interactive with us today. So I need you to leave a text or comment right here on the post. It'll pop up actually right here on the screen. I'll be able to see it, but I want to interact and I want to hear your thoughts because we have a phenomenal show. So listen. Here we go, 9:30, and we're starting that. Man, that's about 15 minutes from now. Mark Jackson, former wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, is going to call in. We're going to talk about the comments from Saints quarterback Drew Brees, and what a firestorm that started. So we're going to talk to Mark Jackson at 9:30. Then at 10 o'clock, Michael Bolin from CBS Sports is going to call in. We're going to talk, a good friend of the program. He's going to call in. We're going to talk about the NBA as they finally it's signed, sealed, and delivered. The playoffs are going to begin, and the Bulls are out. But we're gonna get the deets on what's going on with the Orlando setting and the whole 9 yards with Michael Bolin at 10 o'clock. Well, guys, you know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning to you, and these are the hot topics of the night before, or just the sports in general. And boy, oh boy, do we have some doozies. Which way did he go? Here we go. I know which way we're starting. We're doing this. The NBA, like I talked about, they settled on a playoff plan. The NBA has decided to invite 22 teams to Orlando, and as I said, the Bulls aren't one of them. Okay, the plan includes all teams that were holding playoff spots when the season stopped, plus clubs within 6 games. Okay, so if you were within 6 games of the playoffs, then you were invited. Each team will play 8 games to determine the final playoff seeding. And then in the gap between the 8th and the 9th place teams of their conference is 4 or games or fewer when the regular season ends. Those teams will go head-to-head for the number 8 seed. Now, the team in 9th place would have to go 2-0. The 2-game series to win the berth, and the 8 seed would otherwise the 8 seed would just advance to the postseason. So it's pretty crazy. In the Eastern Conference, you got the Bucks, the Raptors, the Celtics, Heat, Pacers, Sixers still alive. You got the Nets, Magic, and Wizards. In the Western Conference, you got the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, Rockets. Still alive are the Mavericks, Grizzlies, Blazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, and Suns. So at least we're having some basketball. Thank goodness. And I miss, because the finals should be starting right now. We should be dealing with the finals right about now. Okay, but unfortunately, things took not a turn, but things happened and we're not. So the fact that it was suspended some weeks ago, we're missing it. We're expecting the culmination of the NBA season, and now it's we're going to get it. It's just going to be a little later. Well, the next top of the morning topic, MLB, the Major League Baseball season has hit a snag. The players they're not going for it. The players are not going for it. Okay. There's a standstill. Okay. They reaffirmed their stance for full prorated pay. Okay. Now there's a huge gap with teams that can scuttle plans to start the virus around the 4th of July. But, more than 100 players, including the union's executive board, held a 2-hour meeting yesterday after the union's offer was rejected by the league. See, the owners are playing hardball. Okay, the owners are trying to get their original plan through, and the players just aren't having it. Okay, first it was an 80-game season, then they wanted a 50-game season after the players had proposed a 114-game season. This is just a mess. This is just an out-and-out mess that is happening right here in Major League Baseball, and I don't know when we're going to have it. I miss it because this is baseball season. We're in the middle of baseball, or what should be baseball season, and I already missed 2 outings from my guy Hirsch. Hirsch outings. I've already missed 2 of those, so I don't know. I don't know how this is going to end. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look very promising right about now. Well, the next top of the morning topic, here's an interesting one. Here is an interesting one that I really was people had mentioned this before, and maybe this being a way to go for some players, and I was like, that's interesting. Let me think about this. One of the top, in light of all the current situation that our country is in, there were some questions or suggestions as to what some high school players should do. You see, top high school football and basketball players, basketball in particular, because if you're that good and you're a one and done, they bring money with them. Okay, they bring money because usually they go to one of the blue bloods, Kentucky, Kansas, Duke. Okay, and they have a slew of talented players. Okay, but let me see something. There's one young man who says he wants to go. He's considering going to an HBCU. Mikey Williams. Okay, Mikey Williams is a 15-year-old basketball player. He sent out an 8-word tweet the other day, and this is according to Yahoo Sports and Jeff Eisenberg. He wrote, "Going to an HBCU wouldn't be too bad." Okay, Instead of turning pro after high school or spending a year in a perennial college powerhouse, he said that he's interested in an unexplored path. Okay. That's great. That's interesting. He also added, I'm riding for my people. I'm 10 toes behind the black community. Any way I can help or make a change in the black community, best believe I'm going to do that. See, so what happens is if you start getting top prospects of top hoop prospects, well, guess what? TV cameras are going to go there. People are going to want to see these young men play. It doesn't matter where they're playing at. They're going to want to see them play. So what happens is when that situation occurs, all of a sudden more people, they're going to sell more tickets. They're going to sell more jerseys. All of a sudden their games are going to want to be broadcast. And with broadcasting comes commercials. So there's a big financial windfall behind top prospect. All the money that's going to go into the school, if they gain from all this, it's nothing but positive. And this is especially in light of the current situation. I ain't mad at them. You know, I ain't mad at them. And a lot of black athletes have encouraged football and basketball stars to do that. They've encouraged them, say, hey, listen, if you're going to go. They're going to find you. The way social media is and the way scouting is now, they'll find you. Okay. Some of these HBCU schools are desperate for money. They are struggling. And this shot in the arm of influx of cash, of attention, will do wonders. Will do wonders for these schools. And it's great that everyone's just at least talking about it. All right. We got to have that conversation first. And if this can happen, if Mikey Williams does go, that's awesome. That's awesome. You know, a lot of schools didn't seriously consider him going to an HBCU until he dropped that post on Instagram. And then after that, he said, dozens. He had about a dozen scholarship offers from HBCU schools. And, you know, one of the coaches said, hey, listen, he said, honestly, all it would take is just one top 25 kid coming to an HBCU, being successful and going on to play in the NBA. This was from Norfolk State coach Robert Jones. He told Yahoo. Then a lot of other kids would follow. It would change everything. Okay, I think that would be phenomenal. All right, change it when you have the ability to make change, to change something, change the establishment. Do it. Okay, and I'd be really proud of that kid if he decided to go. Again, his NBA future is pretty much set, so it doesn't really matter where he goes. So if he decides to go there, again, a lot more money is going to follow to the HBCU, and what's going to happen? It might be that first domino where you have a lot of kids who go to an HBCU for one and done, or maybe 1 or 2 years, and it's going to open up doors for HBCUs to get some money. And as I said, a lot of these schools are desperate for money, and the windfall that they can get from the athletic department, which really, you know, supports a lot of schools, not just HBCU schools, just schools in general. It would do wonders for those schools.
You know, this is kind of like my favorite headline of the morning, just because that change can change everything. It can flip the script on the entire, you know, the entire college landscape. If one successful African American student athlete goes to an HBCU and like you said, go make it to the NBA, be successful at the school, make the school successful, put the school's name on the map, man, the dominoes could just fall into place after that, because you never really. I don't think how many kids have you heard going to HBCU and getting into the league? Not a
lot. There's a few, but not a lot.
A few, but not a lot. But how many kids are going to go to a Big Ten school or a Big 12 school or you know, the Big East of the Big East Conference to try to play when these schools aren't necessarily, you know, known for having a strong African American history? You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it'll change everything for the better. I feel like that's where I feel like that's where those HBCUs should be a destination for a lot of black student athletes.
I think it is, and I think that's a great idea. As I said, it'll help the influx of money. I mean, let's keep it real. Cash rules everything around me, and the influx of money that's going to benefit the school is depending on how many go, it's you can't even count it.
Mm-hmm.
It's immeasurable because of you get a couple of top 10 prospects going to one school. Now the HBCUs are back on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're really they're competitive. Academically, you're going to be able to hire better teachers, better professors, all because of the money that these athletes bring. And I know they're institutions of higher learning, but let's keep it real. They ain't paying coaches X amount of dollars or people aren't logging in or tuning into TV to see your science professor or a history professor. They're tuning in to see athletes, and this money benefits the entire university. And I am hoping he's only a sophomore, but I'm hoping that he decides to go to an HBCU and just kick the door down, and as you said, change the landscape of college sports. So we'll see.
Yeah, I hope he does.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Well, you know what? The next top of the morning topic, right before our next guest, remember Mark Jackson, a former Denver Bronco, 3-time Super Bowl winner, is going to call us. He'll be joining us in a couple of minutes. The next top of the morning topic, leading right into that, is the Drew Brees comments and then apology. Wow. So Drew Brees comes out. If you haven't heard, Drew Brees, Super Bowl winning quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, when asked about if players would protest or take a knee this upcoming season, he said, "I will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States or our country." Set off a firestorm. It set off a firestorm. His teammates went at him. Other players in the NFL, other celebrities went at him. His teammates, Michael Thomas, one of the best receivers in the NFL. Alvin Kamara, one of the best running backs in the NFL. Okay, Malcolm Jenkins, safety. Okay, they all went after him for these comments. And I posted this on social media, on my Facebook page, and man, it set off a firestorm that you wouldn't believe. Oh man, I mean, I'm not going to go into how crazy it got nuts. But it's not. And one of the guys posted, said, "Well, it looks like only freedom of speech is only good for one race." And I had to jump in and I said, and I commented, "No, it's not. He's free to say what he wants to say. Okay, there's no one restricting his freedom of speech, but you just got to watch what you say. Okay, you watch what you say. You're free. Anyone's free to say anything that they'd like in this country. Okay, but it has ramifications. Your words have ramifications, and you saw the blowback was swift and severe when his teammates condemned it. All of a sudden, he realized the backlash he got. He saw from his teammates, he saw from LeBron James, he saw from Ed Reed, he saw from a whole bunch of celebrities, and he backpedaled and said, "Oh man, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't realize my words were hurtful. Like, you know what, dude? I thought it was too late." Okay, and here's the reason. We're going to talk to Mark Jackson in a moment. You understand damn well that the protest, that taking a knee, was not about the flag. It was not about the military. It was not about the vets. You know damn well it was not. Okay, so for you to say that you're not going to stand up for anybody disrespecting the flag, and it's a deflection yet again. It's a deflection of the actual topic, and that's police brutality, which we just saw a man get killed because of a police officer kneeling on his neck. So for you to do that is disrespectful. That, my friend, is disrespectful, and that's just plain stupid. Okay, why are you focusing on a topic when we know what the actual issue is? So why are you reverting and trying to divert attention away from that? So my respect for Drew Brees has diminished greatly. Okay, and I know you apologize, apology accepted, but I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm going to quote Oprah. She said, "Once someone shows you who they are, believe them." I believe who you are, Drew Brees, And wait a minute, wasn't there some pictures of him kneeling with his teammates back in 2016, locked arm in arm? Oh, I guess it was just for the moment because you didn't want to look like a jerk. Guess what? You look like a jerk. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we got Mark Jackson, former Denver Bronco, former three-time Super Bowl winner. Man, I'm excited to hear my man talk. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning, coming to you live from our Sports Zone Chicago virtual studios. We'll be back right after this. Chicago virtual studios.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NBA continues to take positive steps towards resuming a season that was suspended in March because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The league's Board of Governors has approved the 22-team format for restarting the season in late July at Disney near Orlando, Florida. The format calling for each team playing 8 games to determine playoff seeding, plus
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Happy Mickey Ficky TGI Mickey Ficky Friday, baby. It is the weekend. It's going to be about what's the temperature for today? Let's check it out. Oh, high of 90. I like it. I like it a lot. Summertime shy. Quarantine, they're barely opening up. Summertime shy seems to be in full effect. Well, I can't wait to talk to my next guest, former player in the NFL, a Super Bowl winner, and I want to talk to him about these comments. He played for the Denver Broncos. Okay. You can find him on Twitter at mjax80. Guys, it's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Mark Jackson. Mark, what's up, buddy? How are you? Thanks for your time.
Hey, what's going on, Shawn? Can you hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly, loud and clear, my man. Loud and clear. From one south sider to another, baby. Yes.
Hey, the Shy. I heard that 90 degrees in the Shy, man. That's like, all right, it's about time for me to head back home, man. My mom's birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks, actually. So.
Oh, nice. Same here. My mom's is July 1st.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
June 15th, actually. Whoa, I got 10 days.
So how you doing out there, man? Good to see you. And again, I'm really fired up to talk to you about this because I wanted to get a person who's played in the league to have their perspective, because I played football for a long time. I played professionally. I was overseas. Then I also played back here in Chicago, semi-pro, and with some very successful team championships. And the bond that we had on our team was crazy, and really strong. But what were your thoughts when you heard Drew Brees before his backpedal, which was better than Deion Sanders? What were your thoughts when he first made his comments?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, they came after Vic Fangio had made his comments. So,
yeah,
you're already kind of prepared for it. They say that a smart man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man can learn from others' mistakes. And whether it was a mistake or not, we still get to kind of figure out that's our own, I guess, personal opinion or whatever. Whether it's a personal mistake or his statements, if they're valid or not. My first thoughts were, man, this whole rioting, the Black Lives Matter, everything that's going on is going on because there's just a miscommunication. And we had our Denver Bronco alumni meeting this past Tuesday, and it's usually dominated by what we're doing in the community, our projects that we have going on. Our goal is to empower the youth here in Colorado. And we had like maybe 10 minutes on that. And the other hour and a half was some lively discussion around this whole topic that we're talking about right now. So Drew Brees, as we discovered there, because we had a pretty good mix of African-American, Caucasian, in that meeting. And I think, at the end of the day, we just have to be aware. And I think many people are walking around unaware. And I think Drew Brees, as awesome as he is, he's a Purdue grad. So, I'm like, hey, man, didn't you get that?
Boil her up now, buddy. Boil her up.
Exactly. Didn't you get that? It's just there's so many people, Shawn, that are just unaware. And, they say that perception is reality. It's your reality. It's not the reality. And while everybody does have their own perception and everybody does have their own opinion, we do live in a country where, what is it? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right? Yeah. Equality is what our country is founded on, is based on. So if you can't see that, then there's a disconnect. We all have what we call blind spots. And I think that's what we saw when we heard Drew Brees' comment was his blind spot.
Guys, we're talking with Mark Jackson, former Denver Broncos wide receiver, Super Bowl winning wide receiver, talking about the Drew Brees comments and the backlash he has right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. See, the thing my issue is this, Mark. Okay, you know damn well that this was not about the vest. This was not about the military. This is not about the flag. Okay, that point has been discussed ad nauseum. That was 2016. This is 4 years later. Okay, you know exactly that's not why he took a knee. Okay, and if you don't remember what he took a knee for, then you need to look about 10 days ago, and that's exactly why Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Had nothing to do with it. So I think that his deflection of that really made me lose respect for him, because that really hurt. When you're a leader and you're one of the more powerful voices in the NFL, and your teammate, I mean, you saw how quickly the backlash he got from his own team. Not even talking LeBron, not even talking Ed Reed. I'm talking his teammates. The number one, right. One of the top receivers in the NFL, Michael Thomas, went after him. Alvin Kamara, Malcolm Jenkins, his teammates went after him. And I think that caused him to Deion Sanders backpedal real fast, because I think he realized he put his foot in his mouth. Because, my thought is this: if you love these guys, because you know how strong that bond is, man. I'm sure you got friends, your bonds from high school, from college, and from the pros that you still talk to today. You know what I mean? And it's brotherhood. And if you care about someone, you love them the way that you say, yeah, you're my brother, then you give a damn what happens to him and the people he cares about and how it affects them. Then you give a damn. And for him to say those insensitive comments, like I said, it's unfortunate. I really like Drew Brees, and I lost a lot of respect for him because of that. Because I know the brotherhood that I had from the various teams that I played on, man. Some of them some of them have gone this way of the Drew Brees thing, and we've fractured some. They've been fractured a little bit, but for the most part, everything is still intact. And I had a lot of my white friends calling up and say, I had a meeting Tuesday with one of my guys who called up and said, man, he goes, what can I do? He goes, I thought of you guys. We had a bunch of us. He goes, I thought of you guys, man, when this happened. And I just want to get out and see how I can help and how I can make a difference here where I'm at. He's in Massachusetts. So when having that call with a guy who reached out to me and a couple of the other black players at Holy Cross where I went to school, and and hearing Drew Brees say what he said, that really bothered me big time.
Yeah, I think Drew Brees, him saying that, like you said, you kind of you lose respect. It bothers you, but it's almost good that he said that, because more and more people are now aware.
Where he stands.
There's some people like your friends that you're talking about. You have some Caucasian friends, right? Or people that aren't black or brown, right? That maybe are supporting you. And I promise you, I know I was one of those people. I thought Drew Brees got it. I thought he understood what the kneeling was about. I thought he understood what the plight of the black man and black woman is. One of the things I shared with the guys in our alumni meeting was just the timeline. When you start to look at the timeline, you can start to become once again aware and make sense of this thing. You got 400 years of slavery followed by 89 years of segregation where, hey, you got to drink at this water fountain, or no, you can't go to that bathroom. You got to go over there. That all ended like in 1954. So people think that was centuries ago. No, it was 1954. It hasn't even been a century ago. Yeah. And we're expecting this incredible, this it seems like it's easy to do, but it's not easy to do. It is a shift in mindset. And, Drew Brees is just a product of his it's raising, right? From ages 3 to 12 is where we get all of our programming and our philosophies and our viewpoints on life and how do we see life. And he's seeing life based on that. He hasn't been able to make that shift to say, hey, wait a second. There's some injustice going on here, right? Yeah. Now I get to choose. And I don't think he ever made that choice. I think it was what came out of his mouth was a product of where he grew up and how he was raised.
Well, as I said, he caused a lot of backlash, and he lost he lost respect from a lot of people, and that's something he's gonna have to deal with. Give me your thoughts on the comments of his teammates yesterday, saying, "Hey, you know what? We accept his apology, and now we got to move on."
You know something? You hit the nail on the head. Football players, athletes, I believe military is the same. I don't ever want to put them in the same boat, but they're like. Where, when you have a bond, when you have a common cause, when you eat, sleep, shower, with guys on a daily basis, right? And you go to war. I mean, athletics is war, right? There's a certain bond that's created. And it has to be there. Don't have to like the guy next to you, but you definitely have to respect him to do their job, right? Stay in your lane. We stay in our lane and we achieve that, goal that we're achieving, that we're looking to achieve. I wonder how that is actually going to impact them, their team. I wonder how it can actually impact the NFL or the NBA or any team. When you, once again, maybe it was great that he did say, maybe it was a good thing that he did come out and give his opinion, which just is indicative of a lot of people's opinion. We have over 300 million people in the United States. And if people have that opinion, there's a good majority of the people that have that opinion, then you're not going to see change. So him bringing that out and people addressing it, I don't think once again, it's a matter of someone's opinion. Or perception. There's facts. Here's the facts. People are dying every day, and we want to bring attention to that, right? So it'll be interesting to see. I'm still going to pull for Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints because they're my underdog team. I like them. I got to pull for my Bears. That would be my NFC lineup. And then on the AFC side, there's the Broncos and no one else. So
I ain't mad at you, Mark. I ain't mad at you.
Sports and politics don't mix, right?
I'm telling you, man. Let's keep those separate, like church and state. Keep them separate. Sports and politics, keep them separate. Well, you know what? I don't have to worry because I'm a diehard Bear fan. Been, back in the days, with Walter Payton and Vince Evans, like those days. Bob Avellini, number 7. Those days. All right, you know what I'm talking about? Mike Phipps. Phipps. That's what I'm back then too. Man, yeah, so I grew up. So I'm well. After I grew this, I look a lot older, but I am older now. But
I stayed right before we jumped on, and I was like, "I'm way too old."
Don't worry, this is coming off Saturday. I ain't bulljobbing. This is coming off Saturday.
Got your
People are
Corona
like,
goatee.
yeah, they say you look distinguished. I'm like, oh hell no, that means old. I'm done. It's coming off. It's coming off. Hey guys, we're talking about Mark Jackson, former wide receiver for the Super Bowl winning wide receiver with the Denver Broncos, right here at Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. So moving forward, do you think there's, what do you think is going to happen in the NFL? What do you think is going to happen when people start kneeling? Because I can almost guarantee there are going to be players in the NFL who kneel.
I never even thought about that. Wow. Well, my hopes. I'm an optimistic guy. If you haven't noticed, I always look at the glass half full. I'm always I got rose-colored lenses on, and unfortunately, that may be a problem too here in America. We have too many people that have rose-colored glasses. So I think you have to have both sides of the both ends of the spectrum. But that's a great question, Shawn. I'm not sure how this thing is going to progress when the NFL season starts. I would hope that people will recognize it for what it is, but I am not naive. I will know that some people will project it, or some people will see it as disrespectful, as Drew Brees said, and have that stance. I can't back anyone who disrespects the flag. So, I mean, that's the thing that makes life so great, so grand, is we as human beings can continue to evolve, right? And some people choose not to, but if enough of us choose to evolve, I think our country and our world would just be a better place over time, as opposed to becoming a worse place. And I just have to be optimistic about that in the world and in my sport of football, in the NFL, the National Football League. Tommy.
So one more question before we let you go. So these younger players, that the Odell Beckhams, the Saquon Barkleys, the who else was in the video? Deshaun Watson. All these younger players are very active. Okay, why do you think now is the time that Patrick Mahomes is in? I don't know if you saw that video where they plead. Okay, I'll send that to you. They plead for the NFL to denounce racism. Okay, and why do you think that NFL players really hadn't stepped up like that, hadn't stepped up to the plate beforehand? There really weren't a lot of players to do that. Now the NBA, that's a whole other story. A lot of players have been a little more outspoken, but even that hasn't gone on a lot longer, but it's gone on a little longer than NFL players. And I was just wondering, I want to see if you had your thoughts on why do you think that could be? Why do you think that the NFL players really didn't stand up against this type of behavior in the country?
It's our program. Is our programming as well. So we grew up ages 3 to 12. I mean, literally, this isn't rocket science. It's documented that we all are working on programs. We make subconscious decisions every day, and those decisions are based on how we were raised. So most of us were raised in this apologetic. I mean, one of the things about a black man, and this, Shawn, anyone of color, we see things differently. If we're driving in our car, we drive differently. I'm looking at different things that are going on, right? I can see Popo from a mile away, right?
Are those lights on top of that car behind me? Hold on.
Exactly. We just live a different life. And I think that's the reason why it was like, don't disrupt the lives of a black man is don't disrupt the apple cart, right? Don't cause any waves, right? Even though you have, obviously alpha males that play in the NFL, that's that program, and that deep-seated program to just be quiet, just go with the flow. And literally this particular incident, I heard something, and I didn't want to change the topic, but I did want to throw this in that I thought was pretty interesting. I saw a black woman in social media say, why are we making Floyd a hero? He's a criminal, blah, 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 blah. And what I understood it is he's not a hero. And to me, I'm not making, a criminal a hero. What he represented was a shock in the system. And that's literally, you think about change in our lives, usually that's what causes change, is some shock in the system. It's not easy to change if they say the best way to move forward, to get better, is to have some failure, right?
Yep.
It's through failure that we can, if you're winning all the time, if you don't have anything going on, disruptive in your life all the time, then it's kind of hard to get better. And I think that's what he was a catalyst for, is a shock in the system for things to get better. And hopefully, NFL players are becoming aware of that, something, I can't just not cause wave. I can't settle when there's an incredible injustice that, as there is. And when you talk about racism, that's not tolerated. I mean, racism crosses borders of all types of racism, not just of color. So, that's just something that I think as a country, as a nation, we're growing up, and I love it. I love the time that we're living in. It is absolutely chaotic. I went to the grocery store last night, man, and I broke down and said, I went to buy some Tylenol, ibuprofen. My head was hurting. I was like, man, let me book it to this Safeway, and they're closed. I was like, why are they closed? Curfew, right?
Yes.
It was like 7:30. I'm like, so there is some change that's going on. There's
you have your mask, Mark? Did you have your mask?
Economic impact, something. I didn't have a mask the whole time, man. And literally, but about 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine said, man, you need a mask. And he brought one over to my house. I was like, man, you're not practicing social distancing. And I was like joking with him. But yeah, I have my mask, man. I got a nice football one. I keep it in my car. And I want to be respectful of everything, but yeah, this is like an incredible time, man. Incredible time. So you can look at it two ways, Shawn. You can look at it as, man, what a sucky time that we're living in, right? Or you can look at it as, man, what an awesome time that we're living in. There's lots of change happening, man. And I can know that my kids, and eventually I'm hoping that I'll have some grandkids, will be able to live a better life, right? And have more harmony.
And that's right. And that's what, when I was a teacher for a long time, and that's what I would tell my students and my players as I coach as well. Life's about perspective. Okay. Life is literally about perspective. You can sit there and say what a horrible time it is. Or as you just said, you can sit there and say, hey, this is the change that my kids and my grandkids are going to benefit from, and that's exactly pivot. Exactly. And that's the thing you want, right? You could say, hey, this is exactly it. From our struggle, from our adversity comes greatness. And that's, and if you look at it that way, then it makes it a lot more palatable to deal with. And you say, okay, you know what? On the other side of this, guess what? It's good things for my kids and great things for my grandkids. And you always want to leave the world a better place for your legacy, your family, than when you got it. If you leave it a better place than when you received it, then you've done a pretty good job of living. So I agree with you. There's a lot of things that I'm doing personally as well. And just to make my family better, and so they don't have to worry about having fried bologna sandwiches, like we did back in the day. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about.
Flip that thing over, starts bubbling up.
Bubble in the middle.
Yeah.
Hey, when I first found out you're from LeClaire Courts over there on Cicero, right off the expressway. I taught at Curie, like I said, right down, not too far.
Oh, yeah.
So I actually had.
Really? I didn't know that.
Because I went to St. Rita, so I actually had a couple of kids when I started coaching at Curie, a couple of kids from the LeClaire Courts over there. So yeah.
Wow. I played with the guy, man. We definitely need to peel back the onion a bit more, man. Because they bulldozed down that whole place.
They did
a while back, and I decided, something, I'm going to Midway. I flew into Midway purposely so I can drive past LeClaire Courts because I stay away from that area, right? But I drove by there and it was gone. I was like, oh,
whoa. Well,
yeah, I played with the guy at Purdue University named Scott Craig that went to St. Rita.
Oh, okay.
I'm older than you. I'm an old cat, but and Scott was older than me. He was a senior when I got there, but he had a lot of records. He was a wide receiver at St. Rita's.
Oh, nice. Hey, Mark, I appreciate your time, man. Do me a favor, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Hey, you can check me out on Instagram and Twitter at mjax80. On Facebook, Mark Jackson. I love sharing with people. If you go to any of my pages, I don't do a lot on Twitter. I get criticized about that a lot, but Instagram and Facebook, I'm always spreading love. I'm always giving some positive motivation and hopefully some thought-provoking content on my site. So check me out.
Hey, man, great stuff. I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Peace.
All right, now we'll talk later. Guys, that was Mark Jackson, former Super Bowl winning wide receiver for the Denver Broncos, talking a little social justice with us in the Drew Brees comments and the feedback, the blowback he received from his comments, his very insensitive comments toward his teammates and his black teammates. He brought up something that was very, very poignant, and that was our training. Okay, as football players, as military people, and as men, a lot of times we have to, when things happen, we don't have time to, especially in football and the military, you don't have time to sit and worry and complain, because if you're in the military, who knows what the hell's coming up next, the next few seconds. In football, that next play's coming in literally 35, 40 seconds. So you can't work. So if your quarterback goes out, if your running back gets hurt, or somebody gets concussion, or somebody is no longer be able to join to play that game, you can't worry about it. You have to deal with it later. And I think, that brought up, that explains very succinctly how his teammate, or Drew Brees' teammates, were able to, Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara were able to say, you know what, all right, he apologized, so let's go. It's over and done with. We football players, we don't like to dwell on the past. We because that's our training. We can't. We have a play coming up in 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. We can't worry about what happened the last play, or 2 plays ago, or 3 plays ago, because we have another play here that if we're not focused, we might be the next person taken out, or we might get our bell rung, and it just puts us in danger. So we have to, always forward, never back. It's the motto of the show of me and Maya. Always forward, never back, and you can't, not until the game's over, at least for football players.
Well, I think Mark said it best when he was discussing that's probably how Drew grew up. That's probably the mentality he's had throughout his whole life, is that, something like this, like something that Cap did is disrespecting the flag and disrespecting, family members that have served or whatever, when it ultimately is not. It's
yeah, but Ivan, that was 4 years ago, bro. That was 4 years ago.
No, but but he's talking about right now. He's talking about right now. And if he couldn't figure it out in those 4 years, then what they did yesterday, by what Malcolm Jenkins did, what Michael Thomas did, with all these players coming out and addressing LeBron James and addressing Drew, he ultimately came out and realized that he was wrong. I'm not saying that he was right. He probably just has this he's probably just stuck in like, oh, I can't disrespect the flag, I can't disrespect my grandfathers or whatever. But you're not disrespecting your grandfathers, because your grandfathers and other people's grandfathers, like Malcolm Jenkins alluded to, have served this country. Now their wants and their freedoms and the things that they want in their lives are different. But ultimately, the goal is the same: is to allow people to be free and to do what they want, to practice the freedoms that they so choose. What Colin Kaepernick did was he had every right to do. Every right. He even went as far as going and getting a veteran and discussing what he should do in order to not be disrespectful to the military. So, like, for me, Colin did everything he had to do. The problem is people just don't want to understand. Like Mark was saying, they see the world with rose-colored glasses. It's like they don't want to see what's right in front of them at sometimes. Like, this is not – Colin was never disrespecting the country. He was never disrespecting the flag. He was just, hey, this is going on. Pay attention. And it doesn't seem like a lot of people did after a while. It just started – you get a lot of media attention, social media attention, a lot of people pissed off because the flag. When there's another black young man or another black young woman or another minority being killed in the street by a cop, and like it was like it's to me, Drew was just like how naive were you living, bro? Like, how naive were you living?
You're nicer than me, Ivan, because to me it just revealed his true colors. Okay, because it's been documented, as I said, it's been told and talked about ad nauseum for the last 4 years on why Colin Kaepernick has did what he did, and it makes me look at him in a different light, right? A completely different light, because you give money, because you do all these other things. Well, those are things that you look, because one of the guys that I follow on Twitter and Instagram is Marty Bennett, Martellus Bennett, former Bears. And he had a comment that was so poignant. He said, "Damn y'all thought Drew would say something different than what he did." He said, "Tell me one white quarterback that truly stands for something other than their Captain America image. Now, one of them spoke up when it wasn't easy to speak up. And you think about it, did Tom Brady ever say anything? Nope. Peyton Manning ever say anything? Nope. Drew Brees ever say anything back then? Nope. Aaron Rodgers said something now, but did he say anything back then? Nope.
No.
They're more worried about the dollars, and that shows, okay, and shows you exactly where people stand. And as I said before, once people show you who they are, believe them. And here's the last thing before we got to go to break, because we got Michael Bolden coming up talking NBA next. You know, people talked about in the deflection, okay, of the deflection of the topic, okay. Let me ask you this: kneeling. Kneeling is this. If kneeling is so disrespectful, whatever religion that you belong to, Catholic, Buddhist, Muslim, Jewish, why do you kneel in church? Is that so? Are we disrespecting our own gods? Is that what we're doing? Or better yet, when you kneel to ask your wife to marry you, are you disrespecting your fiancée, future wife? No, kneeling is one of the most highest forms of respect to show someone or something. So when people spun that way, that's how you know they're full of crap, okay? Because those scenarios show an unbelievable amount of respect to your deity and to the woman that you asked to marry you. So when you take a knee, there's no disrespect in that at all, nothing but reverence. So you know what? For those people who spun it very well, you know, congratulations, you did a good job of spinning that back in 16. But now it's not working.
Fool me once. Colin never disrespected the flag. What he did was absolutely right in my eyes. And you know, this witch hunt and this game where everybody plays naive to what's going on. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. It's got to be addressed. Everything should be coming at you, you know, full force, right in your face. That's how you should treat this situation now.
Well, listen, we got to take a break. So on the other side of the break, we're going to switch gears and talk a little NBA action with my guy, good friend of the program, Michael Bolden from CBS Sports. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NBA continues to take positive steps towards resuming a season that was suspended in March because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The league's Board of Governors has approved the 22-team format for restarting the season in late July at Disney near Orlando, Florida. The format calling for each team playing 8 games to determine playoff seeding, plus the possible utilization of a play-in tournament for the final spot in each conference postseason field. The NHL allowing team facilities to reopen and players to take part in voluntary on and off ice workouts beginning this Monday. Major League Baseball no closer to framing an agreement to starting the season. The players reaffirmed their stance for full prorated pay, leaving a huge gap with teams that could scuttle plans to start the coronavirus-delayed season around the 4th of July. The decision could leave owners focusing on a schedule as short as 50 games. No monthly payments for 90 days, 0% APR for 84 months. Details at Jeep.com. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep. Truck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
We're here to tell you about Boost Mobile's new upgraded network.
That's right. Stronger signal, faster speeds, and more coverage.
So now you can get everything you want faster, like Pitbull's music.
No, the new upgraded network means you can download music faster than ever before. It doesn't mean that it will make Pitbull songs faster.
Oh, so this isn't the song.
No, this is the song.
Well, this is embarrassing.
Step up with Boost Mobile's new upgraded network. Stronger signal, faster speeds, more coverage than before. Switch and get 4 unlimited lines for $25 per line per month and 4 free LG K51 phones. Access to upgraded network requires compatible device. New customers only. Full line offer requires at least 1 port and activation from an eligible carrier. Free phone limited to 1 per line while supplies last. Customers using more than 35 gigabytes of data during billing cycle may be deprioritized during times of congestion. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. Additional terms and restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. My next guest, we're going to switch gears and talk a little NBA action. My next guest, man, he's a good friend of the program, and I can't wait to get his view on this situation as the NBA has decided they are going to restart the season down in Disney World, I think it is. I don't know, outside of Orlando. But let's welcome my next guest. He's a good friend of the program. He's a writer for CBS Sports. You can find him on Twitter at mbolandcbs. Guys, let's welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Michael Bolin. Michael, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me this morning. How y'all doing?
Doing wonderful, man. So we are happy. I'm happy we got news that the NBA season is going to finally finish. Thank goodness, because it was just in limbo. Talk about give me your thoughts when you heard that they finally agreed to this Orlando situation with the for the remainder of the NBA season.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, at this point, a lot of it was kind of known going into obviously what was put out there yesterday after the owners came to their agreement on what they want to kind of move forward with their proposal. 22 teams going to Orlando, Walt Disney World, basketball's back. Obviously, it's a good thing. We'll see how it all works out. Obviously, you have the 8-9 play-in type of tournament that they're putting out there. If teams want to finish within 4 games of the 8th seed, I really don't see that being a big thing in the Eastern Conference, to be quite honest with you. But in the West, it could be something that maybe is interesting, and at least gives Adam Silver a chance to kind of tinker around with the some of the ideas that he's wanted to kind of move forward with as the NBA moves forward, in terms of how he kind of wants to adjust to the playoffs and the postseason itself moving forward. But the guy obviously has a lot of ideas, and some of the people I work with are a little disappointed that maybe they're not doing a little bit more in terms of tinkering around with the ideas and seeing what they could really do with the postseason right now. But yeah, I mean, hey, basketball's going to be back in 6 weeks or so, and we'll go from there. But no, yeah, for the most part, everything, we're gonna get a pretty a pretty standard playoff run, and fortunately, I think by the time once we really start getting back to playing basketball and in a few weeks or so after the few training camp periods that they're putting out there, it should be a fun run. So, it's obviously going to be a little bit different with presumably no fans at Disney World for the playoffs of all things. But hey, we're getting closer and closer back to at least a little bit of normalcy, and in terms of sports, you can't ask for anything more than that.
No, we are ecstatic for baseball to come back. Well, but that's kind of in limbo still. But the NBA to come back, NHL to come back, football seems to be moving along. Doesn't seem like their season is going to be affected. College football seems to be they're opening facilities this month as well. So sports is the necessary vice that we need right now to kind of as an escape from the world, guys. We're talking with Michael Bolin. He's the NBA editor for CBS Sports. Just talking the NBA resuming their season right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. I think it's going to be quite interesting, Michael, when you have tough games, because there's going to be no home court advantage. You imagine your team going crazy and the other team having a tough time calling out the plays, or just the momentum, the energy that you feel from your hometown, your home crowd when you're making a run and you hit that three and that place goes in, that just blows. It just goes nutso, and the top, pops off the building. You're not going to have that. You're not going to have that emotion. How crazy do you think? How much of an effect is the lack of fans going to be for these guys, do you think?
I mean, I definitely think it's going to be a factor, like you said. Obviously, people play off of that emotion from the crowd, and it's something that obviously the home team has in their favor. More times than not in the series. Obviously, at a best of 7, you have 4 home games, assuming it would go all the way. What the NBA does in terms of obviously teams are trying to kind of barter for their own ways to get a little bit extra that sort of advantage, whether it's an extra timeout, an extra foul for a certain player. Those are the things that are being proposed. we'll find out today whether or not any of that actually goes through. I'd be surprised if it does, to be quite honest with you. But, hey, teams are looking for, teams like the Lakers, the Bucks, the Clippers, those teams that put in the entire year to get to where they are in the standings. Obviously they would want that sort of advantage if it's possible for them to have it. Whether or not that actually comes to fruition, we'll find out. But it'll be an interesting thing. And, I mean, it's going to be different. It's really all it boils down to. Is it a perfect solution? No, but it's better than anything else we have going right now. So, you just got to make the best of it, and I think that's really what these teams, these players, everyone going down to Orlando, everyone going to Walt Disney World, the wide world of sports. That's really kind of how you got to approach it, I think. And at the end of the day, I think we're going to have a pretty standard postseason for the NBA. But how we get there, we'll see how it all works out.
I'm anxious to see how these players deal with it. Okay, because you're gonna be quarantined. There's going to be health measures that they have to take. I believe they're going to test. I'm not sure if it's every day or
daily. Yeah,
daily. So you got.
Yeah.
So here's the issue. How do you think it's going to play out if one or two players on a team come down, get tested positive for COVID-19?
It's going to be interesting. Obviously, Adam Silver has been. He's kind of moved off of the first stance that they had on it in terms of, obviously, player safety is going to be first, team safety, everyone who's going to be down there, that's what they're going to be focused on. But, at the same time, they've made it clear where if one player tests positive, they're not going to shut down the team. They're not going to shut down the league at this point. It's obviously the person would be quarantined for 2 weeks. Anyone that comes in direct contact that they think could be a risk to themselves or anyone else that's down there is going to be in the same position. So, I mean, it's tough because you want to look at it and assume that the owners are obviously doing everything they can to keep everybody safe. But at the same time, they want to get as many games in as they possibly can to make sure that they're coming up with as much of the lost revenue that they've missed out on over the last couple of months. So it's tough.
Michael, I think you hit that right in the head, buddy. Revenue. Let's keep it real. Yes. Cash flow is everything around me, and the NBA is a business, and they're in it to make money. And people forget that, and you can't forget that at this time. And these owners, these billionaire owners, they're out to make money, and they're doing a lot of different things to to try and get these games played because they have TV contracts, they have sponsors, they have a whole bunch of other people they have to answer to. And I understand that people are a little more lenient due to the time that we're living in. But by the still at the end of the day, they still they need to make money. They're still looking to make money. They're still looking to line their pockets because it is truly a business. So I get it, but it's just going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Let's talk about the camp. So they're going to start with July 9th through 11th is when teams can start training.
June 30th, I believe. June. Is the day. Okay. Yes. Yeah. You'll be able to do they'll kind of have like a training camp type of thing in the hometown. And then, everyone will be able to kind of then go to Orlando, who's going to be participating, and then do another kind of run through before games start going. But based off everything that was put out there yesterday, assuming the players approve it today, I believe it's the 15th is when international players are expected to report, June 15th. And then you kind of move, through that. And I believe it was the 30th, then teams could kind of start doing things, their own facility. And then the week after that, July 7th or so, is when everyone kind of goes to Atlanta, or I'm sorry, Orlando, and then you kind of go from there. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and you know, as much as you want to assume that the players have been able to kind of stay in shape and be able to do it, like not everyone has a court that they've been able to access. Obviously, certain players obviously have facilities at their homes or things like that, but there's so many other people who just haven't touched the basketball in a few months, realistically, in terms of getting out there and really kind of doing the things that you need to do. And that's, I think, is going to be it's going to be the biggest difference. Who's going to be quicker to the curve than maybe perhaps other teams would be, just because of the situation we're in today. And realistically, that could be something that swings a series that maybe potentially wouldn't have been the case in other years.
You know what, and guys, we're talking with Michael Bowler from CBS Sports right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. And yeah, we were talking about that in baseball. Okay, a couple last week, because I'm a big White Sox fan, and we have tons of talent. Just that's all of our talent that we've traded for the last 3 or 4 years is now in the bigs. And we were talking, like, if they get off to a hot run because it's a short season, there might not be a lot of flows, a lot of depths that they go, a lot of valleys that they hit. They may be able to run, and this is what could happen with some of the teams here. Maya just tuned in, checked in via text, and she wanted to know a question. She said, "Do you think players, some of the NBA players, are going to get involved in the protests? They maybe kneel with the anthem, or just focus on basketball being back?"
Obviously it's so early to tell, just because we're so far away from games. But I would imagine, that's going to be part of it. Whether it's kneeling during the anthem or something else. Obviously, we've seen it before from players in the NBA, where they've been encouraged to kind of express their opinion in terms of social issues, and obviously, right now that's a huge thing, and I would imagine, if we were theoretically in the conference finals right now, I would imagine that would totally be something that would be a topic of conversation, not only that we're having, but yeah, I could totally see it being something that happens in a game or before a game, or whatever that the players choose to do. And I really believe that the NBA, I think they're going to be fine with it. I think they're going to allow players to express their thoughts, their opinions, their feelings, in a manner that maybe not every other league would have been able to do. Obviously, you see it, the NFL, they've got their own issues with everything. But, it's you've seen it so far. I know there were certain players who, this past weekend, in the German soccer league, since it's going on now, there are players who, we're able to kind of, show
lift
things
up their shirt and
exactly. Yes. I think it's going to be something where the NBA players 100% take advantage of the platform they have, because they've done it to this point already. This is not something new, unfortunately, and it's going to be something where I continue to think where they make their thoughts known, and the best part about it is, now you don't only have like the stars like a LeBron James or someone like that who we've grown accustomed to seeing them share their thoughts, but you have younger players coming up, Malcolm Brogdon and Jaylen Brown, guys who are very well spoken. They understand exactly what they're talking about, and they know how to make I'm not going to say an argument, because it shouldn't be an argument at this point, but they know how to put things out there where people are going to understand exactly what it is that they're trying to say. And I think that's going to be something that becomes more commonplace, to be quite honest with you.
Guys, we're joined by Michael Bowler from CBS Sports, talking to the NBA right here, Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. And you kind of led into my next question. The NBA has always been a league, and I had Mark Jackson on right before you, former wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. And I asked him this question. I'm going to ask you this question as well. Why do you think the NBA? So I'll just kind of rephrase it. So the NBA players have been a little more open about supporting social justice causes. The "I Can't Breathe" T-shirts when Eric Gardner was choked out in New York, and not so much in football. Why do you think NBA players are a little more comfortable addressing these situations than NFL players up to this point? Because I don't know if you saw yesterday, there was a video on Instagram with Saquon Barkley and Patrick Mahomes and a whole bunch of other young NFL players, young black NFL players, just basically pleading for the NFL to denounce racism. So why do you think the NBA has been a little further along, has been doing this longer than the NFL players?
I just think you look at the leadership in the league and what they encourage the players to do. I think Adam Silver has kind of made a valiant or made an effort to encourage the players to not only be who they are in terms of helping promote the league, but also you have a platform, use your voice. They don't discourage people from doing that. I don't cover the NFL on a daily basis, so I don't want to sit here and necessarily put words into someone else's mouth. But just from afar, the way I look at it, I've always looked at the NFL as being a league more that wants you to care about the I guess the emblem on the helmet more so than the name. Yes, than the name on the back of the jersey. And I just think the NBA doesn't do that. They understand that it's a star-driven league, and their stars are going to have the opportunity to make those sort of for honestly good thing, the things that they should be doing to encourage that discussion. And ideally, I'd love for the NFL to get to the same place sooner rather than later. But obviously, like you noticed, Saquon, Patrick Mahomes, those players are trying to get to that point. But I really feel until the league really gets behind them, it's going to be an uphill battle.
I think that first I think it's twofold. As I sat back and thought about it yesterday when I was getting my questions together for both of you guys today, I think it has, again, cash rules everything around me. And Akeem Hicks was talking to the media the other day, and I think it's because contracts are guaranteed in the NBA. Okay, yeah. So you can say something and they can't fire you. In the NFL, they can cut you because contracts aren't guaranteed. You're only guaranteed the guaranteed money that you sign initially. So, Akeem Hicks talked about it yesterday, and I think that was one of the main reasons why NBA players were so outspoken as opposed to NFL players, literally job security in their livelihood, because especially after you saw what happened with Cap and he never got a job. Yeah, that sent a strong message. That sent ripples through the NFLPA. Like, okay, you come out again, support a Cap, you might not get a job either. And that $1 million, those $1 million contract that you had, those years they're gone.
No, it's a short career span, especially in the NFL. You're absolutely right. Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with everything there.
Hey, Michael, great stuff, buddy, man. I appreciate your time as always. Do me a favor, though, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
Yeah, obviously we're at cbssports.com. Now that the NBA is back, hopefully, we have a lot more content to kind of provide you guys than we have the last few months. But we're getting there. And if you want to follow me, I'm on Twitter at mbolandcbs. So
a lot more work for you, buddy, and I'm sure you're welcoming it.
After looking at the timeline of what they want to do, it's gonna be a busy rest of the year. I will say that.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, okay, one last question then, because we got some time, and I'm the boss here, so and no one can tell me what to do.
It's a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is going to be real quick. So I'm looking at the timeline. So the finals are going to go as late if they go all 7 games, October 12th. Mm-hmm. Then the draft lottery. The draft is October 15th. And then the next season will likely begin December.
Yeah, December 1st. How crazy!
Yeah, how insane is that? Give me your thoughts on that short timeline. Again, I understand why it's so short because of the situation, but nonetheless, players still got to deal with it.
It was the first thing that really jumped off the page yesterday when I saw what was being proposed and what had been approved by the Board of Governors. Is regardless of whether you win the NBA Finals or not, you're going to have less than a month before you have to turn around and go back to training camp. And, like you said, the draft 3 days after the end of the, proposed end of the NBA Finals, and if it goes 7 games, free agency 3 days after that, teams are going to look drastically different than they did 6 weeks after a playoff run ends. It's gonna be pretty wild to see. Obviously, Michelle Roberts, the NBPA executive director, came out last night and told ESPN that she was kind of, her exact quote was surprised, but honestly, I was stunned when I saw the proposed kind of quick turnaround that they have, and the one thing that I haven't seen, at least to this point, is no one's really put out there how many games they plan to play next year. Are they going to start December 1st and run, mid-July finals and play 82 games? How is that going to work? How is that going to look? And for those teams that make a deep playoff run, I mean, you got to feel like they could be at a disadvantage next year.
And I think what you just said makes a heck of a lot of sense from both sides. Okay.
Yeah.
They want the owners want the revenue.
Of course.
And the players want the checks.
Yes.
So it might affect the end of the season till 2021 season, but I think finally the 21-22 season might be the back to normal season, not push back, not shorten, not anything. Mm-hmm. But I think next season, the 2020-2021 season, I think they're gonna go all 82 again. Just one of the things that I couldn't believe is how many NBA players live check.
Yeah,
you think all these multi-million dollars that they make, and their paycheck every 2 weeks is in the 6 figures for all of them, but then what, and a lot of them still live check to check. So they're going to say, hey, push that through. We'll get all 82 in. Doesn't matter when we play. Let's get it done. So I'm thinking next season, the 2021 season is going to be 82 games. But hey, buddy, I appreciate it, man. I'm really thankful that you're able to come on and talk hoops with me. I love it, man. I love it every time we get you on, man.
I like the video chat thing that we got here. This is great.
Hey, we're always moving on up, baby. We're moving up, always forward, never back.
So we're doing. Always.
Hey, thanks, Mike. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Have a great one, Sean.
All right, now.
See ya.
That was Michael Boland from CBS Sports talking a little NBA action with your boy, the Superback. And yeah, he extended it. He said, well, how the quick turnaround, are they going to try and get 82 games in for the 2021 season? It makes sense. I think they will. I know Maya left a comment. Do I think they're going to be part of the protests? Yeah, I think they're going to be part of the protests. I think they're going to, they may wear those I Can't Breathe shirts again, the one that they wore with Eric Gardner. I think that would be a great thing as well. And the NBA is, again, I feel that players twofold. I didn't get to the second one with Michael, but the first one is that their contracts are guaranteed. But the second one now with these younger players, they're a lot more active on social media. They're a lot more active in social justice issues. They're a lot more vocal, okay, in things other than their sport, other than basketball. And so, if you looked at the NBA or the NFL commercial, the Instagram post they had yesterday, it's all young players. Mm-hmm. It's all young players. These guys are like 25, 26 and younger. Yeah, are most who are doing that. And it's just a new generation. These younger kids are more willing. They have more energy. They need to, all right, because as you get older, you lose steam, you lose energy. But you need the next generation to pick up the torch pick up and take the torch from you and run with it. And it looks like the NFL players, these younger NFL players, and it's the stars. Mm-hmm. It's the Patrick Mahomes. It's the Saquon Barkley. It's the Odell Beckham Jr.'s. It's the stars in that one that are pleading with the NFL. Please, denounce racism, and that's going to be a tough thing since as we noticed, there's tons of racist practices in the NFL.
Right, and when the NBA does come back, of course they're going to do something, but it's going to be different than what's happening right now because of the timing. Right, when the NBA starts up, this will be a little further. We'll be a little bit separated from what's been going on. Things will be it'll be a little different. Although it's probably going to be a few weeks away, things will be a little different. So I could see something very, very emotional, very powerful, but more calming than something than us getting Drew Brees is quick reaction, comments and stuff like that. With people being insensitive, I think the NBA is going to do. I think they're going to have everything put in place so they could do something meaningful, something spectacular, especially going into the playoffs in Orlando. With this whole new format, what better stage to showcase that you care about your players in the African American community than right before you start this I don't know, tournament, I guess.
It sounds like, yeah, for all intents and purposes. Yeah.
So I have all the faith in the NBA that the NBA is going to do something great, something meaningful, something that other leagues should probably try to emulate.
Well, listen, guys, we have to take one more break. It's the last show of the day, last show of the week. And, man, let's get back. We're going to be able to get to this 90-degree weather here in Chicago. Make sure you go get your car washed. I got my car washed yesterday and enjoy this 90-degree weather. But don't go anywhere, folks. More sports conversation. Keep it right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Quicken Loans presents the Sports Flash, driven by Jeep on 1330 and 95.9 The Zone. The NBA continues to take positive steps towards resuming a season that was suspended in March because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The league's Board of Governors has approved the 22-team format for restarting the season in late July at Disney near Orlando, Florida. The format calling for each team playing 8 games to determine playoff seeding, plus the possible utilization of a play-in tournament for the final spot in each conference postseason field. The NHL allowing team facilities to reopen and players to take part in voluntary on- and off-ice workouts beginning this Monday. Major League Baseball no closer to framing an agreement to starting the season. Players reaffirmed their stance for full prorated pay, leaving a huge gap with teams that could scuttle plans to start the coronavirus-delayed season around the 4th of July. The decision could leave owners focusing on a schedule as short as 50 games. No monthly payments for 90 days, 0% APR for 84 months. Details at Jeep.com. The Sports Flash is driven by Jeep. Chuck Sanders, 1330, 95.9 The Zone.
We're here to tell you about Boost Mobile's new upgraded network.
That's right. Stronger signal, faster speeds, and more coverage.
So now you can get everything you want faster, like Pitbull's music.
No, the new upgraded network means you can download music faster than ever before. It doesn't mean that it will make Pitbull songs faster.
Oh, so this isn't the song.
No, this is the song.
Well, this is embarrassing.
Step up with Boost Mobile's new upgraded network. Stronger signal, faster speeds, more coverage than before. Switch and get 4 unlimited lines for $25 per line per month and 4 free LG K51 phones. Access to upgraded network requires compatible device. New customers only. Full line offer requires at least 1 port and activation from eligible carrier. Free phone limited to 1 per line while supplies last. Customers using more than 35 gigabytes of data during billing cycle may be deprioritized during times of congestion. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. Additional terms and restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Happy TGI Mickey Ficky Friday, baby. It's the weekend, baby. And I am fired up. I was telling you right before the break, got my car washed. I got the black Cadillac. It put the Armor All on the tires yesterday, boy.
Looking slick.
I almost went up to it and kissed the car. I almost kissed the car like, damn, you're so beautiful.
Don't do that. Go.
Damn, you're beautiful. So go out there and get your car washed. And listen, guys, we got a special. There's a guy who's really out there. If you're a rideshare driver and you're listening to us, there's a guy who's really working with rideshare drivers. It's called Phenomenal Auto Spa, 2216 South Kedzie. That's where I got my car washed yesterday. He's doing a great job, great service. It has a great deal for rideshare drivers. I know there's still a few of you out there. Stop over 2216 South Kedzie. Tell them you're a rideshare driver, okay? And you get a special. For cars and SUVs, it's $10. For extra long SUVs like Escalade EXs or an Excursion or Expedition or a minivan, it'll be $15. But the deal is this. You get your car washed, and you get an outside and an inside wash. And they also disinfect the inside. So if you're a rideshare driver, you know how important that is to have your your car disinfected. You don't want anything, people coughing and things in your car. So they'll do that. But you must, and I repeat, you must use the code word, and that is Sports Zone Chicago. Okay, use the code word Sports Zone Chicago. Just go there, say, hey, I'm a rideshare driver. I drive for Uber. I drive for Lyft. I want to get the rideshare special. They want to use the code Sports Zone Chicago. And if you have a car SUV, you get it for $10. And if you have an extra large SUV or a minivan, you'll get it for $15. Phenomenal deal. Make sure you check it out. Phenomenal Auto Spa. Leon's the guy over there. Tell him I said what's up. Like I said, I was there yesterday hollering at him. And they just did a phenomenal job. I'm telling you, I just want to look at it like, God bless it. Like I wish I had a drone that could have videotaped me driving home, just driving my black Cadillac as it came out all shiny. Those tires, I have never seen those tires so shiny, dude. I'm telling you, when you get a black car, and it comes fresh out of the car wash, and it's shiny, and your tires are gleaming. I was feeling myself. And the only bad thing about it is I couldn't roll down the windows and bump my music. You know why? Because I didn't want to get the streaks on the windows. I kid you not. That's the only reason. I had to wait till I was about halfway home, because that's in Cermak and I live in Orland. I had to wait till I was about halfway home, and I was driving at a pretty good pace. And then I tested it on the passenger side window. So I rolled that down, and I looked back there, and then rolled it back up to see if there were streaks, and there wasn't. So that's how I knew I could roll my windows down.
So you're saying you went 85 on the highway, Portland, so you could dry off the car. I got it.
I can neither confirm nor deny that statement.
At least the car's nice.
Yeah, it is. You got any big plans this weekend? Chicago's opened up. Bars and restaurants are open. I've seen so many different bars, restaurants who have those big tents now. Mm-hmm. And then with the nice weather, like out here in Orland, They started using, this was ingenious, they started using parking lot space. And they're taking tables out. So, so you can actually spread the tables 6 feet apart from each other or more if necessary. The majority of those tables were underneath a big canopy. And I was driving by on 159 just east of Harlem. There's a little, there's a Popeyes, there's a Taco Bell. And the Taco Bell had a slew of tables out there. I don't need a Taco. I'm sorry, Pepe's, not Taco Bell, Pepe's. I don't need a Pepe's, but a lot of people out here do, and it was crowded. Yeah, I don't know.
I need a Pepe's.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'll go to the authentic joint right here across the street.
That little corner store. They got a taco. They got a grill in the back. I'm good.
Yes. If they don't speak English, then I'm going there. Yeah. I'm sorry. Call me what you want, but you know damn well that's a good food when they don't speak English. Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna be doing much this week. I don't feel like I really don't feel like going out right away. Not that I'm scared of COVID or anything. Don't be scared. Not that I'm afraid of contracting COVID or something like that. It's just like the times now. Like what's going on? What's been going on this past week? The virus. I just feel like it. Just if you want to go out. This is just me. I'm not condemning anybody if they want to go out. That's fine. Just for me, I just feel like this isn't the time to go out and I don't know, have a drink, like relax and like celebrate that we have we got the bars back. I think it's a reflecting kind of a time about what's going on in our country, what's going on in the Black community, what's going on with the police, what's going on with the presidency, what's going on with the elections, like all that needs to be reflected on. I just feel kind of like this last week, with outside factors, and even though it didn't directly affect me, it's like, look how many people it has affected. Look how many friends is it affected. Look how many times I've been asked my opinion. It's been draining. It's mentally draining. So for me, even trying to focus on sports, you know what I mean? To do this and produce and look up clips and stuff like that, I find myself, as I'm in it, just kind of wandering away from it, thinking about what's going on outside. So like for me, I think it's just time to rest. Like that's what I'm gonna do is just kind of chillax, chill out, and wipe the mental slate clean and think about things kind of with a fresh mindset.
That's a good idea. I'd like to rest with a drink in my hand in a buddy's backyard.
I mean, that's cool too, because I'm sure I'm gonna have a drink somewhere. You know what I mean? It just won't be at the bar.
My guy Alberto he's been a lucky guy. He's been in these raffles, and this dude he literally wins once a day.
Are we talking about the same raffles?
Yes. We're talking about those raffles.
I was like 5 cases. I was like,
dude, he's got tons of beer. He's got tons of beer, tons of tequila. So I'm gonna hit him up and like, "Ew, where you at, Papa? We need to throw a few back and see what's up." So, but that's what more that I want. I'm the bars. Especially now, like I still don't. I'm not comfortable paying $5, $6, $7 for a beer. When I can go to my buddy's house and drink. Now I want to say drink for free, or just spend $12, $15 on a 12-pack or a case, and that's 12 or 24 or beers and that's 2 drinks, or 4 drinks at a bar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, so.
Oh, especially if you're gonna get any type of mixed drink,
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Forget it.
But I will tell you what. Oh, it's up there. I do have my stogie for this weekend, so I have one for tonight. If I decide to do that tonight, and I have one for tomorrow, in case I do that. Because tomorrow I'm gonna have the patio party again. Listen to my man Julian Jumping Perez, and it's gonna be, it's gonna be a little cooler tomorrow. It's only gonna hit about 80 tomorrow, and then obviously in the night's gonna be much cooler. But I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about our Bears. All right, the Bears we mentioned it early. We mentioned on Wednesday, the last time we were on, that Matt Nagy gave them Tuesday off instead of going through walkthroughs and things like that or meetings via Zoom. They are able to talk. They're able to talk about what's going on because as Mark Jackson, who we had on earlier, talked about our conditioning and as football players, like, all right, let's just move on. It happened. It's over. Let's move on. You still are human, and these are issues that you still have to address. And some of the stuff that Akeem Hicks said the other day was just so poignant. Okay, where he talked about him being afraid to say something.
I was thinking about what you said about Colin Kaepernick, and I was wondering 2 things. One, has it bothered you that your team has not brought him in and worked him out? And when you talk about
this is Akeem Hicks,
the lack of support that he had during his protest, is there anything you feel you wish you would have done differently as you look back at that?
I'll speak to my part first. All right, I can't take anything back, and I had the same at that time when Kaepernick was taking the knee. I had the same thought that 85-90% of the league felt at that moment. If I get down on one knee in front of this stadium, I am fired. My job, my career, my life is over. I'll be blackballed. And then to come out on the other end and watch it actually happen. At that time, when Kaepernick was taking the knee, I had the same thought that 85-90% of the league felt at that moment. If I get down on one knee in front of this stadium, I am fired. My job, my career, my life is over. I'll be blackballed. And then to come out on the other end and watch it actually happen to Kaepernick, it just tells me that my feelings were real. It was the reality, and hopefully it won't be going forward. Now, as far as my team, how do I feel about my team not working them out? We got enough stuff to figure out other than bringing other people in and deal with other situations. What I will say is this, though, as far as Kaepernick is concerned, it's not a Chicago problem. It's an entire league problem. There's 31 other teams that, I don't know who's worked them out and who's brought them in, but I'll say this, it doesn't start in Chicago.
It doesn't. And, one of the other things that he said in that interview is, with the press the other day is like, we signed Mike Lennon.
Yeah, man, that was gold.
That was gold, Jerry, gold.
Gold, Jerry, gold. Perfect.
And that was the thing. And here's the issue. So if they're not blackballed, there's just more and more issues. remember the Bears went and signed Ray McDonald. Remember the abuser and Vic Fangio, went to bat for him. Matt Nagy, those guys, like they went to bat for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think it was Fox's first year. So, and they got him. They allowed him to sign him, because for obvious reasons. And then they wouldn't sign Kaepernick, a guy who was literally one play away from being a Super Bowl winning quarterback. If it wasn't for that beautiful catch in the back of the end, you know what I mean? Like,
so there's a lot on that Super Bowl that I probably would disagree that he was a step away. I think he was a play he was a play away from winning the Super Bowl, but he was a power outage away from getting blown out in that Super Bowl because the Ravens were on the hunt in that first half. But that's neither here nor there. But they didn't even look at him, just like they didn't look at Deshaun. You know what I mean? Just like they barely gave Pat Mahomes a look, and they went boom right. Those things make you question. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like what are the Chicago Bears doing? What are the Chicago Bears about? Those, and I could understand, especially I know you've heard it and I've heard it, like people debating on whether the Chicago Bears actually would ever want a black quarterback. Maybe they don't want an African American quarterback running their team. Maybe that's something. And I mean, all signs in recent years point to that could be a very much a possibility. You don't go look at Cap. You don't go look at Deshaun Watson. You don't go look at Pat Mahomes. Like those things right there, those are huge. Like you'd even take a look at them.
And I can see, and you have the number 2 pick. Okay, you have the number 2 pick in the draft. So you had you knew who was going first. All right, you knew who was going first. It wasn't even an issue. All right, it was Myles Garrett. That wasn't happening. All right, Cleveland wasn't going to pass on him for any reason.
I don't think they should have either.
So now, and I agree with you. So now you got the number 2 pick, and you literally have every single quarterback, and that was your number 1 need, and it wasn't a secret that every single quarterback in that draft, and it was a very good quarterback draft, was there for the taking, and you picked the wrong one. And then not only that, it comes out later that everybody in the room agreed that was the guy that the Bears should pick. That Ryan Pace went around and asked, a few different personnel members who they should take, and everybody chose Mitch.
I don't think John Fox had that thought. As bad as John Fox was as a head coach of the Bears, I don't think that he wanted Mitch Trubisky as bad as Ryan Pace wanted Mitch Trubisky. But
I think you're right.
Let's not think about Mitch. This is about the league, right? This is about what Colin Kaepernick did. This is about what Akeem Hicks is saying. Akeem knew that if he took any type of step like Colin did, he would have been gone, just like Colin is. You know what I mean? Just like Colin Kaepernick is. He would have been blackballed. He said it. Everything that he thought happened to Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
That's the problem. That's a huge problem. Everything that Akeem Hicks said happened to Colin Kaepernick, and it could have happened to him. So who's to say that if more people initially would have stood with Cap and wouldn't have budged, like the Eric Reeds, and such, who's to say there would have been more suspension, more blackballing, more players not being looked at? Like that's the part that pisses me off the most, is that you took away their job, their livelihood. Like you took away the man's livelihood because he spoke up about something.
So my question is, does Kaepernick get an apology from the NFL?
I almost cursed, but no, he's not going to get an apology because you know how those guys are. You know how they are.
Because he's not getting an apology because that would mean that there is racism and there is police brutality, and they just didn't want to deal with it.
They'll give him $50 million to shut up, but they won't apologize. That's what I'll say.
Allegedly $50 million. We don't know.
They'll give him, was that?
Allegedly, because that was sealed. We don't know.
Allegedly. They'll give him $50 million to allegedly calm down with the protesting, calm down with the exposing of the NFL, but they won't apologize. That they won't. I don't see it. I don't see it coming. Maybe individual teams, maybe individual, executives and such. But the league, the no fun league, no.
And it's amazing how people, and this is exactly what it was. It's like I had one of the guys on my team, my college team, was defending Drew Brees, and I'm like, he kind of went on the offensive, just saying, now it's not fair. He can't speak his mind and blah, 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 blah. And I wrote him just like I wrote someone else. Like, listen, it's not about him not being able to speak his mind. Okay, that's not it. I said the thing is that if it's a brotherhood, like I said to Mark Jackson earlier, if it's a brotherhood and I love you, the way that I say I do, then when something affects you to your core, not what color Range Rover you're going to get, not what damn earrings your wife wants. When something affects you to your core, then you listen. Then it affects you because I care about you that much.
Right.
Love you like I tell you I love you, in the huddle or after games, after we win, and all that other stuff. All right. That's what the issue. And that's the thing that I had to tell him, like, dude, I'm like, and I asked him, I said, what if one of us were getting beat up, we're getting, got beat up on campus by, it would never happen, but one of us got beat up by, a group of guys. Would you have had my back?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I had your back. I'm like, why? Because that was something that attacked me at my core, physically, but also, they had the audacity to do that to me, your teammate. Right. You would step in. I said, and that's where his Saints teammates thought they were, but they weren't. They thought they were, but they weren't. Maya texted in, she's like, sports reflects life. Many people of color are in decent jobs or have comfortable lives, often fear that they will lose their livelihood. And they're damn right. They are damn right. And you know what? They are damn right. Okay. Because they can, you can fudge things and maneuver things. It's all how you document things. Like, okay, well, anytime you were late, anytime you messed up an assignment, all of a sudden all those things get put together. Because if you don't think, believe you me, bosses will they take note and say, just in case I have everything that I need to get rid of certain people or people in general. So, you're right. She's right. It is. People were scared.
Yeah.
And
just to Maya's point, to hear Akeem Hicks say, we've seen that man just destroy an offensive line. We've seen him just go and just be this just unstoppable force on a football field.
Mm-hmm.
And he's over here telling us straight up that he's scared. Like Maya, pretty much her words, he's terrified that if he were to speak up for himself and his community, that he would lose everything. Like that's a crime. That shouldn't. You should never feel that as a human being. That if you speak up for yourself, you're gonna lose it all.
But you heard people say, you heard Jerry Jones, you heard him say, if anyone kneels or cut, I'm cutting them. You heard him say that. That was no joke. And there are certain people that you kind of question or wonder how sincere they are. Jerry Jones isn't one of those people. Jerry Jones is not one of those people that you say, I wonder if he's bluffing. Jerry Jones is not that dude. You don't bluff. You don't mess with Jerry Jones. And especially a situation, such a hot topic, a hot situation like that, hot topic like that, you don't mess with Jerry Jones and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, just, players were fearful for their jobs. And again, where are you going to go get millions of dollars? You're not going to get that at McDonald's or Walmart or doing anything else. So they just stayed quiet. But now that after seeing what happened, the reason for it, and after seeing the literally the death of a person that went viral, that's people have a little more behind them when they say they want to protest. They have a little more behind them. people, it's not, you can't be so quick. People aren't so quick anymore because exactly what the reason for the protest was what we saw. And so the NFL has got to be a lot more compliant, got a lot more understanding. Okay. Because these young kids who are these multimillionaires and the future stars of this league they're coming together. They're coming together and they're bonding and they're demanding that the NFL condemn racism, which is going to be tough for them to do. But these young kids and this newer generation, we older guys may have something to say about certain things about this younger generation. But I will tell you this, when they're behind something and they're passionate about something, they use their technology. They use they gain, they collaborate and bring together the collective forces and the big names, and they realize how much power they have in numbers, and they know they can make change. Because you're not going to fire Patrick Mahomes.
No,
you're not going to cut him. You're not going to cut Saquon Barkley. You might cut Odell Beckham Jr., but that's another story. You're damn sure not going to cut Deshaun Watson. Okay, you're not going to cut all these guys who you invested millions of dollars in, and these are the ones who are making change, and these are the ones we need to make change. And then now the other thing, we need other established veteran white quarterbacks that make it to join the cause. Aaron Rodgers, he's in this video that the Green Bay Packers had talking about, the George Floyd situation.
Right.
And after that, I'll tell you what, I hate him and the Green Bay Packers so much less. Still hate him, but I hate him so much less because
like this much less though.
Yeah. Well, no, like this much.
Okay.
We're talking human lives here, so
I got you.
We're also talking football, so
but,
it to me, like I have a new outlook, a new view, a new point of view, a new perspective on Aaron Rodgers, and I still want him broken half when we play him, but
right.
I, as a man, my respect for him went through the roof.
Before we take out, I wanted to go ahead and play Matt Nagy, what Matt Nagy had to say.
Yeah, let's listen.
Because they all had a meeting, and what we didn't hear from Akeem was going into that meeting not expecting anything, and I think it was stemming from what happened prior with not looking at Cap, not signing Cap, not signing looking at Deshaun, things like that. But this was Matt Nagy was talking about the meeting.
Obviously, all of our condolences go to George Floyd and his family, and obviously so many other our country right now. And we understand, where we're at, and it's difficult times right now. But what I can say is this: starting this weekend, after talking to several of our players over the weekend and listening to where they're at, get an idea how we wanted to go about this week. Because as I said, a few days ago, football is extremely secondary. And so we have to get life right. And that was number one for all of us. And none of the X's and O's, it's just no one was thinking about that. And so how do we go about it? And so talking to some of the guys helped me into deciding on Monday to really spend our allotted 2 hours to listen and to let our players know how much I and we support them, and then let them feel our love, and that starts by listening. So we did that, and we had I wasn't really sure how it was going to go because I wanted it to be very natural, very organic. And I can just say this: when the 2 hours ended, and I'm sure we could have gone a lot longer, we were all very emotionally drained in a good way. And there was a lot of emotions that went on. I discussed it with our team this morning. There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of fear in the conversations. There was disgust. There was sadness. There was compassion, hurt. And then there was was even at times some stories with that I know a lot. There's surprise, and so I feel it's important that y'all understand what we went through. It was probably the most powerful 2-hour meeting that I have ever been in and will ever be in.
That's Bears head coach Matt Nagy the other day addressing the media regarding the day off. He gave his team on Tuesday to talk about social issues, to talk about the killing that they saw of George Floyd, and you talk about really impacting. First of all, the fact that it was a surprise, and a lot of Akeem Hicks had no idea, and I obviously most of the players didn't have an idea. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great thing for the Bears to do, to really hear, and that's the thing. You mentioned it earlier, Ivan, communication.
Yeah.
Communication. If someone you love or someone you care about, okay, is going through something, then you stop, say, listen, the hell with what you got to do. Talk to me.
Right.
The hell with what your responsibilities are for today. Talk to me. Okay, because I want your mind right. Okay, because I need you to know that I have your back. I need you to know that I care about you as a person, not just as a worker, not just as a player, not just as an employee.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a great job by the Bears, and hopefully that brings them together. Hope it brings them together, to start this season, man, because it's it's going to be a make or break season for them. I think if the pendulum is going to swing one way or the other, if things go bad, I think some people might be let go, and if things go good, I think it's the start of something that could be really, really great for the next couple of years. So, it's good.
Well, I hope so, because it's like, if anything could bring this team together, I hope it's this, because then we can all move forward and trusting that a team that we root for is doing the right thing by its players, by its community, the people that root for them. That's what I could feel. I could feel that they support more.
Man, 2 hours is come and gone. That was quick, fast, in a hurry. Don't worry, Flavor Vision ain't blurry. Guys, I want to thank my guest, Mark Jackson, former Super Bowl winning wide receiver with the Denver Broncos, calling in, talking about the Drew Brees situation. I want to thank Michael Bolin from CBS Sports for calling in and talking with us. Great stuff. And I want to thank you, Ivan, for running it over there. Had a little bit of a mishap early, but you handled it, and
thank you.
So I appreciate it. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching on the replays as well. We love talking sports with you. We love your interaction with us. So we appreciate it. Well, listen, you don't got to go home, but we are home. But it's time for us to log off. And you know what, guys, have a great weekend. It's going to be nice. If you do go out, enjoy it. Still be safe. Wear your masks where you can. People are asking, like, so are we done with COVID? Is that how it is now?
Well, when you're not wearing masks running around and it's getting hotter, and you're protesting, which is, you're right, but you're protesting with thousands of people who also don't have masks.
Yes.
I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
But enjoy the weekend, guys. It's going to be a nice one here in Chicago. The next weekend, we're back up in the 80s and 90s again. So, man, summertime shy looks like it is officially here. So for my lovely co-host, who's in absentia, Maya Akai, and my Puerto Rican Swiss Army knife himself, Ivan Vargas.
We'll see y'all next week.
Guys, we'll see you on Monday. Same bad time, same bad channel, 9 a.m. to 11 Central Standard Time. Until then, I got 2 words for you, folks. Superback out.
Peace.